All right, we're back. I have the Nissan rear end up here on the bench, and we're going to look at some of the stuff we're going to be doing here, some of the parts that are going to go into this build. First things first, we have a Quaife LSD or Quaife LSD, depending on what part of the world you're in, how you pronounce that. Really good unit, super strong, smooth, quiet, does not require any kind of special gear oil or anything like that. It's a gear driven helical gear torque biased unit. Good stuff. A new gear set, not sure what the ratio, I think it's a 390, but I'll update that in the next segment of this video once I get everything wrapped or unwrapped and starting to get this thing cleaned up for the build. We have a expanded differential cover for this thing as well. Most of this stuff all came from Z1 Performance and was supplied by the client for this build. There's a differential brace here that you can use also as a jacking point, so we'll be installing that. Several Nissan supporting pieces like these seals, a vent, and some hardware and things like that. The carrier bearings are a set of coil bearings. They're not factory Nissan bearings. I'm not super happy about that, but it is what it is. We'll deal with it. There's also going to be a set of differential bushings added. There's one going into the frame of this car. This is a 370Z supercharged, got a boatload of power. And so we need to get a proper differential in it so we can put the power to the ground more properly. It handles much better with this Quaife LSD or Quaife LSD. So I'll be pushing these out, pushing these in. Luckily we have everything that's necessary to do that here in the shop. There's our arbor press right there. So make easy work of this. And all right, well, stay tuned to this video and we'll get into the next segment once I start getting all this stuff apart and separated, cleaned, and ready for the install. It is indeed a 390, 4712, 391 to be exact. 47 ring, 12 pinion teeth, giving us a 391 ratio. With the power that this fella's making, actually I think this is a girl car. This young lady, I'm telling you, this thing is pretty wild. I've seen this car, it's pretty wild. Got a supercharger on it. I think they're looking to push 700 horsepower with it when they're all said and done. So this is a hell of a car. Got 305s on the back of it, and they're losing traction with the 305s. So it's pretty crazy. But anyway, let's get this thing set up and see how it goes. It's bright out. Just time change, everything's so crazy. I think that might be it. Let's check, let's see. Yep, looks like it is. Perfect. All right, great. All right, go ahead and we'll flip this thing around and we'll get the other side done. The other side here, all set up. Alright, that should be it. Nice spinny, spinny, spinny stuff. Looking good. Bright, shiny end of the day. That'll work over here. Yeah, everything looks good. These are nice bearings. They're coil bearings from Japan, so they probably are as good as you're going to get that's not in a factory Nissan wrapper. Maybe possibly even the same bearing. Everything the way it fits and all, I feel good about these bearings even though they're not in a Nissan package. All right, we got this opened up here and we're looking at about, I think 5,500 backlash, and it's pretty consistent, so it's really good. It's clean inside. Typical staining, nothing unusual. Really. We have that brand new Quaife LSD going in here, or Quaife LSD, however you want to pronounce that. As you can see, we have a big and a little on these stub axles. That's what they use on the viscous LSD. When we put the new Quaife LSD in, that's going to require 2 short stub axles, so we're going to take care of that in the process of putting this thing together. All right, let me get it blown apart the rest of the way, get it cleaned up, and start the reassembly process. All right, we have the rear all taken apart now. I gotta clean this sealant off of here, clean the rear end up, probably shoot a little color on it. Here are our old axle seals and our new ones from Nissan, as well as a new pinion seal with the old pinion seal here. These are the old bushings we removed. Used the arbor press to get those out. And this is our new urethane bushings that we'll be putting in from Z1 Performance. All right, let me get it cleaned up some here, and we'll be ready to start reassembly. This thing is looking really good. Love the paint. It's a cast color I did on this one. I think it looks really good. I think it'll look great in the car. Anyway, we're going ahead, and I've already pressed the bearings on. I've already set the pinion inside, and now I'm pressing in the new pinion seal here. So in order to do that, you want to get a pusher that's going to be the same size as that outside rim, so you don't distort that seal and then possibly cause a leak down the road because it just didn't get pushed in correctly. So I have an old race here that fits pretty nicely, and then I'm going to put another collar on top of this to clear the pinion, and then I'm going to go ahead and press that seal in. All right, we are all set up now here in the arbor press to put that seal into place. It's kind of a crazy setup, but it works. We'll go ahead and that push. There she goes. Perfect. Just landed that. All right. I'll go ahead and check, see how everything looks now. It's set in there perfectly, just like it should be. All right. Go ahead and I'll grease up the spline on the input flange, get the nut prepared, and go ahead and set the load on those bearings. All right, we have the flange set now. We have our new Nissan distance piece put in place, our bearings, seals, and all that. And I'm also going to replace the old pinion nut. Here we have our new Nissan pinion nut ready to go. And these nuts, you can kind of sort of reuse them because of the design of this nut. It can be used over, but I prefer to replace the nut, and so I know that it's set and it's not going to be backing off, whereas every time this comes on or off, it does weaken that distorted nut, or whatever you want to call this thing. It's a locking nut is what it is, and it loses some of that locking ability every time it's on and off that pinion. So, you know, replacing it is a good idea, and with all the money that's going into this differential with the new Quaife, the new gear set and things, it's best to go ahead and replace that nut for added insurance to know that that nut's not going to back off. Turning torque on these things is kind of on the heavier side, more so than like the Honda and the Mazda stuff that you're used to seeing here on the channel. I set it to my own standards, what I think it should be, and so far that's worked out really well. And there's our Quaife and our new ring gear. It's a 390 gear set, our old nut and other wrappers from other parts that we've replaced. All right, let's go ahead and get the carrier back in for final assembly. All right, once again, we're going to be using ARP grease on these bearing cap bolts. This grease will keep these bolts from galling, get us a proper torque load on them, and just make for easier in and out if necessary later on down the line. All right, we got our bearing cap bolts set. We have our ARP grease on those bolts, so we're good to go. This is our backlash setting. We are approximately 4.5 thousandths, between 4 and 4.5 thousandths consistent around the gear. This is a brand new gear. Nissan calls for 3.9 to 5.9 thousandths backlash, 3.9 being the minimum, 5.9 being the maximum, so between 4 and 6 thousandths, just say. As this gear wears in, since it is brand new, there's going to be a break-in period of time on this. It's going to wear in right at around, probably between 4.5, close to 5 thousandths. So it's going to put it right in the sweet spot of perfection there. All right, well, let's get on with the next phase of this. We're going to be putting in bushings, seals, setting up the cover, and finishing up this build. I wanted to show you guys the pattern. It came out super nice all the way across the gear. Got that consistent backlash going around about 4.5 thousandths. So we are dynamite. Let me get that cover on, bushings in, and finish up the video with you guys. Hey. Hello, little baby. We have to get inside this box so we can finish the Nissan job, because all the parts are in there. Hello, Lucy dog. Oh, shop dog, shop kitty. Okay. Let me in. Come on, let me in. Oh, don't eat the cat. Come on, don't eat the cat. Oh my God. All I did was want to get stuff out of the box, and this is the kind of crap that has to go on. Come on, you goofball. Leave the cat alone. That cat's going to eat you. Better watch out. I'm going to leave Shop Kitty alone. Well, let me get the stuff I need. All right, go have fun, okay? He'll be back. All right, there's our cover. Get that over here. All right, stub axles, bushings. All right, we have all of our parts on the bench now to finish the build with. Our new axle seals, the vent tube, miscellaneous hardware that'll be necessary to install the brace, our bushings from Z1, the 2 stub axles. On this build, when you put a Quaife in here, you have to use 2 short stub axles and not the long and the short that came with the viscous. So the client has provided 2 replacement stub axles, the short side, so they are plug and play. I don't have to machine anything, thank God, because that is a pain in the butt to do, but I've done it, many of them in the past. It's just so much easier to just get an additional short stub axle. But okay, let me go ahead and start pressing all this stuff in and getting it put together for install into the car. On these differential bushings, these poly bushings, it's a pretty simple install. They don't have as nearly as kind of pressure on them as the factory steel and rubber bushings did that had been removed here. The bottom bushing, the one that would be underneath the car, so when you put your differential hardware in to mount it into the car, it has a little recessed pocket area here, and that's to put the washer on there to support that fastener that will run through the center of that bushing to attach it to the mounting arm in the car. So that one would go in the bottom here, like so, and it just kind of pushes in real simple like that. And then this top one, it's smooth, you can see that, and then you would just go ahead and center it in and push that in as well, and that's all there really is to it. And it's a pretty simple push. There it is, it's in. And then of course you just take these washers, they go up underneath like so, and then bolts run up through here into the car, and you're good. You got a much firmer bushing than what the factory one was in here, so a lot less give, less to alleviate like wheel hop and things of that nature. That's the whole idea of it. Of course, the one in the car is in the subframe of the car, and that you might see later on in a new, different video if I get an opportunity to do that for you guys. I'm putting in the seals right now for the axles. I took the bushings back out because I think I'm going to go ahead and put some grease on those so that, you know, to prevent any squeaking, if it possibly will squeak, I don't know. But there's a special grease you use on this polyurethane stuff that will prevent them from making noise. And I mean, this car is pretty loud and obnoxious, so chances of them hearing anything is probably pretty slim and none. But I'm still going to go ahead and take that precaution and put that grease on there. Right now, I'm taking my time driving this seal in so I get it right seated the way I want it seated. You can see where I'm at. It's a little bit more here. Yeah, I like that. That's good. I'm gonna go ahead and drive the other one in next, and I'll put the axles in. Sounds good. All right, we're on the money there now. All right, next, go ahead and put those axles in. Okay, with the stub axles, you always want to grease the axle, grease the spline. These are internally clipped in here, so the clips for the retaining clips for the axles are internal in the Quaife LSD or Quaife LSD, as some people call it. So that's how it is held in place. Just get it slid in and then tap it in. And there it is, it's done. Nice. Go ahead and do the other side now. And it's the same, it's greased and ready to go. Insert very carefully so not to release that spring on that seal and cause a leak that would suck. There we are, we're in. So that's that. So our stub axles are in place now. Our axle seals are in place now. I'm going to go ahead and use that special grease on these bushings and then reinstall those bushings so we don't have any squeakiness going down the road on that chassis later on. Like I said, not that this guy would probably hear it or this girl would probably hear it because it's a pretty loud car, but still, that's the right way to do it. You want to lubricate those urethane bushings so you don't get squeaking. All right, let me get to that. All right, we got the sealant on here. I used Honda Bond. It's the best, even though this is a Nissan rear end. I don't trust any other sealant when it comes to sealing up these differentials. Never had a leak with it. It's just really good stuff. So we're all set. Our flanges are cleaned, and we're getting ready to put this fancy cover on. We are all finished. It is built, done, greased and lubricated, ready to go with the bushings. These washers go on the other side of that to reinforce that bushing when you mount it into the car. They're in. Drove in the new vent tube, the new stud with anti-seize. Reused the plugs from the old cover here. Let's see, that's your fill plug. And then of course the drain right there, that was from the original Nissan cover, and they go right into this new aftermarket cover from the V1 Performance. We have our brace in place. Went with a cast finish on the case, so it looks really nice. Everything's super tight. We're gonna get this back in the car and give it a test drive and see how it is with that 390 ratio. All right, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully it's a little bit knowledgeable for you guys that are looking to do these things and install these bushings. They're really simple. It doesn't really take a press to put the new ones in. And I've seen some crude methods of getting the old ones out, but of course with our arbor press in here, it made short work of it. It was a pretty simple job. Of course, all the information on the case here, so in the future, if anybody needs to know anything, it's always available. Well, again, please subscribe, enjoy, and we'll get the next one up on events. Thanks for watching.